կկա։ Մենք իրար հետ խոսալու քննարկելու շատ բան ունենք։
Մամ
Իրա վրով չանցնալ։
Այս տղան էլի ձևի մեջ մտավ։
Չկա, չես զանգում կյանք, կինդ խիստ է պատշ։
What if the scream Leo heard in the darkness was not a warning, but the beginning of a trap that had been prepared for months? And what if the people he has been trying to protect are already standing much closer to danger than he realizes? In episode 99, the story does not begin with answers. It begins with fear. The kind of fear that freezes a person before they even understand what is happening. The gunshots have stopped. The abandoned building is silent again. For a few seconds, nobody moves. Nobody speaks. Leo's heart pounds so hard that he can barely hear anything else. The voice that screamed Leah's name keeps echoing inside his head. Without thinking, he starts moving through the darkness, pushing past the confusion, ignoring the people around him. Leah! No response. He calls her name again. Still nothing. Then suddenly the emergency lights flicker on. A weak red glow fills the building, and what Leo sees immediately changes everything. There is no sign of Leah, no sign of an attack on her. Instead, one of Vahan's men is lying injured on the floor. The chaos was real, the gunshots were real, but Leah was never there. Someone wanted Leo to believe she was. Someone wanted him distracted. The Han notices Leo's reaction instantly. For the first time, the older man begins studying him differently. Not as a fighter, not as a problem, but as someone being manipulated by forces neither of them fully understands. Meanwhile, Leah is completely unaware of what happened. She is at home, unable to sleep. The emotional distance between her and Leah continues to grow, but something inside her refuses to let go. Every time she tells herself she is finished with him, she remembers a different version of Leah. The Leo who stood beside her when nobody else did. The Leo who always carried everyone's problems as if they were his own. And that is what hurts the most, because she no longer knows which version is real. At the same time, David begins noticing something strange. A black vehicle that had been following him suddenly disappears. Completely. No surveillance, no suspicious movement, nothing. Most people would feel relieved. David feels worse, because people do not simply stop watching without a reason. They stop watching when they no longer need information, and that realization sends a chill through him. Across town, Aram receives unexpected news. One of the people he secretly hired to monitor Leo has vanished. Not quit, not disappeared voluntarily. Vanished. The report is brief and incomplete, but the message is clear. Someone more powerful is moving pieces behind the scenes. Someone who does not answer to Aram, and Aram hates losing control. For the first time in a long while, genuine concern begins replacing his confidence. Elsewhere, Ona carefully examines the documents she received. At first, she focuses only on the evidence against Avo, but then she notices something unusual, a signature, a name she has seen before, a name connected to a completely different situation years ago, a situation involving Leo's family. At first, she assumes it must be a coincidence, but the more she looks, the more impossible the coincidence becomes. For the first time, two separate storylines begin moving toward the same hidden truth, a truth buried years ago, a truth somebody has spent enormous effort protecting. Late that evening, Leo finally meets David again. This time there is no argument, no shouting, just exhaustion. The two men sit in silence for several moments. Then David quietly asks, "How much trouble are we really in?" Leo wishes he had an answer, but he doesn't, because every day reveals a bigger threat than the day before. For the first time, he admits something out loud. "I'm scared." David looks at him, not with judgment, not with anger, with concern, because hearing Leo admit fear feels wrong. Leo is usually the person protecting everyone else. If he is scared, then maybe everyone should be. The conversation ends with a difficult decision. No more secrets, no more hiding. From now on, they will face whatever comes together. But neither of them realizes they are already too late, because at that exact moment, someone breaks into Leo's apartment, not searching for money, not searching for valuables, searching for something very specific, a small locked box hidden beneath Leo's bed. And when the stranger finally finds it, he smiles, because he has just found exactly what he came for. Part 2. The next morning begins with a disaster. Leo arrives home and immediately knows something is wrong. Nothing appears stolen, nothing seems damaged, yet the apartment feels different, disturbed, as if someone has touched things they should never have touched. His instincts take over. He searches every room, every drawer, every hidden place. Then he reaches beneath the bed and freezes. The box is gone. For a moment, he cannot breathe, because the box contains something he never told anyone about. Documents, old photographs, personal items connected to his father. The same father whose image suddenly appeared on the mysterious screen. Someone is connecting the pieces deliberately. Someone wants Leo chasing the past. But why? Meanwhile, Leah decides to do something she has been avoiding. She goes to see Nare. Not because she wants advice, because she needs honesty. Their conversation begins gently, but eventually the real question emerges. Do you think Leo lied because he stopped loving me? Nare immediately shakes her head. No. The answer comes too quickly to be fake. Because everyone who knows Leo understands one thing. His biggest flaw has never been lack of love. It has always been believing he must carry every burden alone. Yet even those words fail to give Leah peace, because love does not erase betrayal, and betrayal does not erase love. She feels trapped between both. At the same time, Aram secretly launches his own investigation. If someone stronger is operating in the shadows, he wants answers. His search leads him somewhere unexpected, to an old financial record connected to a company that no longer exists, a company linked to Leo's father. The discovery leaves him stunned, because suddenly everything starts connecting. The underground fights, the surveillance, the hidden documents, the attacks. This was never only about Leo. It started long before Leo entered the picture, and someone has finally decided to finish unfinished business. Elsewhere, Ona makes another breakthrough. The signature she found appears again in additional records. The same person who helped manipulate evidence against her also had connections to powerful figures from years ago, figures connected to the mysterious events surrounding Leo's family. For the first time, Ona realizes her suffering may not have been an isolated tragedy. She may have become collateral damage in a much larger conspiracy. As night approaches, tension builds everywhere. David receives a phone call from an unknown number. When he answers, nobody speaks, only breathing. Then the call disconnects. Minutes later, another message arrives, a photograph. At first, he doesn't understand what he is looking at. Then his blood runs cold. It is a recent photograph of Leah and Leah, taken without their knowledge. Someone is watching both of them, very closely. David immediately tries calling Leo. No answer, because Leo is already heading toward a location he discovered inside one of the stolen documents, an old warehouse outside the city, the same warehouse that appears repeatedly in his father's records. When he arrives, the building looks abandoned, forgotten, dead. Yet something feels wrong. A faint light shines through one of the windows. Someone is inside. Leo enters cautiously. Every step echoes through the darkness. Then he hears a familiar voice, a voice he has not heard in years, a voice that should be impossible. Leo stops moving. His entire body freezes. The voice quietly says, "You're late." Tears immediately fill Leo's eyes, because he knows that voice. He would recognize it anywhere. Slowly, he turns toward the shadows, and just before the figure steps into the light, the episode ends, leaving one terrifying question unanswered. Is Leo finally about to come face to face with the father everyone believed was dead?